we said useSelector is used to select something from your Redux store. So let's talk about what Redux is about. Redux is a store, or Redux helps us to create a store. Redux is a state management system. It helps you to manage a state. Let's say you need a value in different components of your React application, in different pages. You can keep it in Redux. So Redux has something, a place where we call store. So to start with, you need to download this package, Redux toolkit. When you download the package, inside it, you bring in this create slice. This is the create slice, it's a function. You call on the function and you pass an object to it. Now, you pass a property called initial state. The initial state is the initial state of your React application, like the starting point of your React app, where it starts from, right? Then we are saying our initial state is this. What we are doing is that it's more or less like doing this. Let's go to any component that we use the value. Okay, it's more or less like doing something like this. Let's var set var. I don't know, those that were in the last class aren't here tonight, so let's carry everybody along. We are going over it again. Name. So you know this is going to be the initial value of var, right? Are you with me? Hello, you know this object will be the initial value of var, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's the same thing we are doing here. That's the same thing this initial state is doing. This will be the initial value of this person. Do you get it? This object will be the initial value of this. Whatever you put here is more like doing this. But the difference between this and this is that this here is for your whole app, while this is for this component. So when you have a value that you want to share across your application-wide states, you make use of this. So here's our initial state. Let's proceed. Next is, whenever you want to change any value, any of this value, you make use of this set var, right? This set var can be used to change this here. In same sense also, that's what reducer is meant for. You create something called reducer. Inside this reducer, you have functions there. You create some functions. And whenever you want to change any value there now, any value in your states, you make use of, you call on these functions. Any questions so far? Are we all getting it? Please let me beg us. In the next class.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the next class, I want us to go back to this. I want us to go back to it. I want us to, we are not yet done, we may not finish Redux today, but I don't want us to go back to this starting phase again. Even if we don't finish today, next class should be maybe we deal with how to call on async function in Redux, how to call on asynchronous function in Redux. Now, back to today's session now. You see these functions is what you use to change the value in your stuff. Just like this set var, the same way this set. The difference is that this is just one, while this can have as much as possible. So if I only want to change name, I can create a function called set name to change this. If I want to change languages, I can create this in order to add new languages. Then set department to set the value of this. I can create another one, maybe delete languages. So this reducer, we call them reducers, and in fact, that is where the name redux comes from the word reducers. So these ones, whenever you want to change any value in your states, in these states, you call on these functions. Any questions so far? Okay, let's proceed. So let's assume I want to change the name now. I will call on this function set name. Now let's delete this for now. Remove it back. Let's delete this. So this is a function. A parameterized This function is supposed to be a parameterized function. You see whatever you have here stands for your entire state. Whatever you put, it's not even to call it state anyway, but it is common that some people use state. Whatever you have here stands for your entire state. So whenever I call on this set name, I want to change this name to Kenny. So I'll just say state.name equals to Kenny like this. So what you are doing is this. We call on set name. Whenever you call on this, it will set this name here to Kenny. If I want to change the department, I'll come here and say, just put state here. This state stands for the entire states. I mean, all of this, right? So I can say state.department equals to, let's say, biochemistry. Any question? Let's move on. Now, having done this, if I want to display these values, remember the essence of doing all of this is to be able to show these values, display these values within our components. Right? If I want to display these values in any of my components, let's say I want to do all of this, we are not done. We create something we call configure. We bring in something called configure stuff from our redux toolkits. So we are saying the reducer, we are creating a property on it called reducer. The reason we have this object, the reducer here is an object, right? You can have many slices like this. Like this, look at it this way. You know, when you say slice, a slice is like a part of something, right? Are you with me? You know, a slice is like a part of something, right?
Yes.
So you can say this is like a part of your entire store. It's not the whole store. Meaning that I can still have another store. In the last class, I explained something like this. This can be maybe for students, whereby you can have another one for teachers. And you will have, or you can call it teacher slice or something. The information about create slice. Then you put all of these things there. Everything you have there. It will have a name attribute. So the name here will be teacher, like this. Then initial states. So I put an object. So I can say maybe the teacher has maybe courses they take. And you put the courses there. So if you want to tamper with teachers, this is what you use. If you want to tamper with maybe each student or with the student, this is what you use. Do you get it? Hello? So this is a slice.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I just said yes.
Okay,
Just
okay. I thought you meant. Okay, so this is for teacher, why this is for person. Right. So you can come here and say teacher. That will now be teacher slice dot reducer. So that is what this is meant for. So you can have many reducers, Although in our own case, we can work with this for a start to start with. Right. So let's delete this for now. You can have many reducers. So what we are doing here is this. We are saying create something for us called store. In our store, we now want to place our slices. You know, we have different slices now. Like you can have a teacher slice, you can have a person slice. We now want to put all our slices together so that all of them stay together. All our slices become a single entity. A slice is like a portion of something. So we are taking these many portions, bringing them together, and arranging all of them inside our store. So here is the store. Then we are now going to make this store available to our entire app so that our whole app can pick anything in the store. Any component now can go to the store, select anything it wants, and make use of it. So next is how then do we make our entire components? How do we make them see the things that we have in this store? In order to do that, for now, we are coming back to this part. So how do we make our entire application see the things that we have in our store? In order to do that, you need something called provider. Yes, provider. This comes from ReactJS. We installed this package also, we've installed it earlier. So this, we bring something called provider. The provider provides our entire application with the things in our store. So how does it do that? What you do is this. You you create it just like the way you do components, right? You set a prop on it called store, and the value of that prop will be this store here. The value of that is whatever you call this, whatever variable this is. That becomes the value of this store. You can't rename this to something else anyway, you can't. But your value will be, this can be anything of your choice, anything. So it's expecting a prop on it called store, and the value will now be your store. So this provides our entire application with the store. And this is the opening tag of the provider. This is the closing tag of the provider. So any component embedded within this provider, any component embedded within this provider can go to the store, pick anything there, and make use of it. So that's why we put the provider here. We wrapped all our components with it. If any component is out of the store, that component cannot make use of the things in the store. So let's see what now happens. On the landing page, when you go to this landing page, it will go to this and load this page. So how then do we display the values in our store? So what you do is this. This is use dispatch. I will remove it for now. Then, okay. I'll remove this also for now. And I'll just focus on useSelector. For now, comment out all of this also. In fact, even this should go. So let's focus on this. I'll remove this also. But let's just focus on this alone. Right. So what you are doing here is, I hope our application will not break, because another component might be using what you commented here. Let me go to the browser and see if it's broken. We can fix it before we proceed. Okay, our application is not working. Good. So let's go back here. So what we are doing here is this. You see this useSelector is coming from React Redux. useSelector is what you use to select whatever you need in your store. I come again. Whenever you want to pick anything, you want to display anything from your store, you call on useSelector. And whatever you put here, any value you put here, stands for everything in your store. So this var, presently now, it stands for our old store, which is, since we only have one reducer, which is this. But let's assume you have another one again, it will have that. Let's say we have the teachers, just the way we had, I should have commented it out instead of deleting it. Let's assume we have the teachers reducer. It will also be part of those things that will be in your store. And this and whatever you have in another reducer, like another slice, let's put it like that, this here, and whatever you have in another store, all of them become part of this var. Do you understand? Let's note this for now. All of them, this var stands for your whole store. It stands for everything that you have in your store. Any questions so far? If you are getting it, say I'm getting it. Yeah, we'll fix this now. If you are getting it, say I'm getting it.
I'm getting it.
Okay. David. Okay. So we can now say return. This arrow function. You can use it to return something. Right? Return var. Remember, var stands for your host dot person. Where is this person coming from? It's coming from this place here. This person, and that's also the name of your the name of your slice of this particular slice. So we only want to return this. Remember, if you have that of the teacher also, if I only want to pull out the information of the teacher, I can say return var.teachers. Do you get it? So var.person, that is, I'm not interested in everything in var. I'm only interested in the person present within var. Right? You may choose to call this anything. We often call it state. Just know that whatever you call it stands for everything in your store. And I'm returning person because I am only interested in the person. So let's say let person equals to state of person. So this here now will be assigned to this. Right? You can now say console log person. And this gives you this same initial state back. It's going to give you this thing back. So let's check it on the browser. I'll comment out this part also. So let's check it out on the browser. And that's why you have these objects, department, this and this. So if I'm interested in displaying the name, I can now say person.name. Right? If I'm interested in displaying the department, I can say person.department. So let's destructure the let's assume we are only interested in the department. So we can destructure department out of it like this. And we have my department is department. And that's right. Oh, person is not defined. Where is the other comment? Okay. Let's remove this totally. My department is software engineering. So in any component whatsoever, whenever you want to pull out anything, whenever you want to display anything in your store, what do you use? Hello? If I want to display anything in my store, what do I use?
Reducer? I don't think I'm wrong. I'm right.
Make use of useSelector. useSelector.
useSelector. Okay.
Use useSelector to select a value in your store. So in any of the components, when it's time to display, whenever you want to display any value in your store, you call on useSelector. Whatever you put here stands for your whole store. Then you can now return what you need there. Return state.person. Right? So what this returns an object, and I'm destructuring department out of that returned object. And that's why we have this. My department is department. Now I have a question for us. Right? I have a question for us. Let's say we have, I'll just copy this. Let's bring back our teacher. Let's see if I've copied this. Let's say the name of the teacher is Kenny. Let's say if I just put H. Okay. Age is let's say 10. What's a teacher? Who's a teacher? Right. So scroll down, add a new say teacher is sorry. What's the name of this video? I think it's teacher slice now. Yeah, teacher slice. Okay. Now, my task for us is this. I want to display the age of this teacher. How do I go about it? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I want to display this age, the age of the teacher. How do I go about it? Here is this. Here. I want to display this age. How do I go about
My my screen is freezing, so I can't even see the real time update.
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe I should log off and log in back.
Okay. Wasil,
Yeah.
I want to display the age of the teacher inside this landing
Yeah,
component.
I heard you, but because I think I was getting the explanation, but because I didn't start the class, I didn't start the Windows class before, so I didn't really,
This is a
I don't even
recap.
have answer.
This is a recap of everything we've done. That's why, in fact, the reason I'm retaking this is because those that joined tonight didn't join our previous classes, and that's why we are having this class. So, even if
Okay.
you've not been in our previous classes, I believe based on what I explained now, if you understand what I explained
No.
now, you should be able to get it done. Do you understand?
Yeah. I don't have the answer to that now. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. What you do is you bring in useSelector. I said whenever you want to pick anything, you want to display anything in your store, you make use of useSelector. You use useSelector. You call the function useSelector. Then here you put a state here. This state or whatever you put here stands for everything in your store. So this state now stands for this and this. It stands for everything together. So we can now say I'm interested in information of the teacher. So I can say dot return state dot teacher. Then if I'm only interested in the age of the teacher, in fact if I'm not interested in everything, if I'm only I can say return dot teacher dot age, or better still I can destructure age here. Const age. Equals to this. So we are destructuring the age out of it, and we can now display the age on the screen here. Age. And this displays the age of the teacher, the teacher's age. And that's why we have this 40. So the idea is this. Oh, what's this? So the name here is teacher, and that's what you're also using here. Teacher equals teacher slider to reducer. Then after doing this, you have your initial state, which has name Kenny, age 40. This is for the teacher. Why this is for person? So in your components now, you call useSelector. State here stands for everything in your store. You return state.teacher. I'm only interested in teacher's info. Like I said, if you're only interested in the age, you can do something like this. You still get the same answer. If I'm not interested in any other information in the teacher, so I can just we still get the same answer. So we can now display it on the screen. Based on this response, I'm thinking if we should end there tonight. Then please go and watch it again. Watch the recordings. In the next class, I don't want to go back to useSelector. In the next class, I want to talk about useDispatch. I've explained useDispatch before, but then I feel to carry everybody along, I will explain useDispatch in the next class. But I don't want to go back to useSelector. Next class, I will assume that we all understand useSelector and how it works in Redux. So next class, we talk about useDispatch. Any question? Alright. In absence of question, let's call it a day at this point. Thanks for coming. Have a lovely night rest.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll go over the video again. It's a bit confusing, but I'm very sure we'll get it.
Alright. Thank you.